Say hello to Gallo.
Say hello to Gallo.
Say hello to Gallo.
Hello to Gallo wine.
The taste is better than other wines you've tried.
Discover Gallo flavor, the master vintner's pride. Say hello to Gallo. Hello to Gallo wine.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
One, two.
Hey, Mr. Smiley Face, breezing into town. Shiny, happy people seem to follow you around. Kiss a couple babies, slap a couple backs. Man, that ain't how it plays on this side of the tracks. Nobody gives a damn about your fancy clothes.
Welcome to Wine Nation TV. I'm your host, Ricardo. Today we are in the beautiful Midwest state of Ohio. Now, wine may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the Buckeye State. However, Ohio currently boasts over 110 commercial wineries. The history of winemaking in Ohio dates back to 1820, when Cincinnati lawyer Nicholas Longworth planted the first Catawba grapes. This domestic variety was hardy enough to withstand the harsh winters and produce a semi-sweet flavor favored by consumers who didn't favor the currently strong wines of the day. By 1860, Ohio was the nation's leading wine producer. Unfortunately, not for long. Vine diseases and the onset of the Civil War, which left little manpower to care for the grapes, led to the demise of winemaking in Ohio. 100 years later, Ohio winemaking made a huge comeback thanks to the Ohio State's research and development team, who planted disease-resistant vines that are growing strong and producing some incredible wines. So come with me while we take you through a tour of Ohio's wine country. Let's go! Welcome to today's episode of Wine Nation TV. Our guest for this episode is Chuck Harris. He's the winemaker and owner of Ravenhurst Champagne Cellars in Mount Victory, Ohio. You've got to try his wines. Enjoy the show today, and when you go to the winery, ask him why he stole my beret.
We had no intention of making the most wine in Ohio, just the best. And of course, to make the best wine in Ohio, you had to grow the best grapes in Ohio. We thought it was ridiculous to have a winery in Ohio and truck in grapes from Michigan or New York or even California. If I wanted to make California wine, I would have moved to California. Anytime a winemaker puts vines in the ground, he has to believe in the terroir, the whole environment he's planting those vines in. He must believe that there's something unique about that terroir to make those wines, those grapes that will become the wine, unique, so his wines will stand out. If you're going to make wine like everyone else, then there doesn't seem to be much value in that. So we chose to grow grapes here because it's a unique geographic anomaly. We're in a little strip, probably 11 to 15 miles wide here, that is directly west of Ohio's highest point, Campbell Hill. I realize it's not the Rocky Mountains, but when those storms start out in Iowa, and they only have that one tree in Indiana to slow them down, they hit that little hill and they go north and south. Consequently, the storms follow those two wind patterns. So the people south of me and the people north of me get a lot more rain than we do in this little section. That gives me a real dry harvest, so I can really grow ripe grapes here. The other thing that's unique about this area is here in Ohio we have really heavy clay, very few grapes grown on heavy clay. It really alters the flavors in the wine. This part of Ohio has a clay layer that lays just beneath the topsoil. We auger through that big blanket of clay. Wine roots, being lazy, go right to the bottom of the hole. Then they spread out underneath in some really rich soil. When our bad winters come, our grapes are under that big blanket of clay. So what is the biggest detriment becomes our biggest asset. Also, under that layer of clay, they don't warm up as quick in the spring. Here in Ohio, we're plagued by spring frosts. Up on the lake, they're often decimating. But down here, our vines aren't budded out as soon because they're down under that clay layer in cold soil. Consequently, we miss all those spring frosts.
Hi-ho, Silver Wing!
Is our flagship line. We obey all the French Champagne laws. We use only Chardonnay and Pinot Noir for their production, salt-free run champagne, and we believe in a long entourage. The Grand Cuvée has been in entourage for 12 years, the Brut Rosé for 10 years. All these are gold medal award winners in California as well as American Wine Society. I think they're really the top of the line of Ohio champagnes. All produce Brut Sauvage, which means no sugar added at the end. These are absolutely dry. The other way of thinking about this is naturel. Here at Ravenhurst, we're fortunate to have a vineyard that gets the disease Botrytis cinerea. This is the same disease used to make the great sauternes of France, the Trockenbeeren Ausleys of Germany, the Tokais of Hungary. It intensifies the juice and concentrates it so you make a very sweet dessert wine. The vineyard that this comes from, I should get about 1,000 gallons a year. On a good year, I might get 150, maybe 180 gallons. What I'm missing is the water. So it's a very sweet wine, and it has the spiciness produced by the Botrytis cinerea disease itself. As you'll notice, we don't produce it every year, 01, 04, 06, 07. The missing years are years where we were hit by rain late in the season, which really destroys this wine. But when we get a good dry finish, it's the only wine in Ohio that is made this way. Other dessert wines in Ohio are mostly ice wine, but this is a true sauterne.
You've been cheating, you've been lying, you've been weeping, you've been crying. For so long I've tried to live with you in vain. You've been moaning, you've been grieving, but goodbye, this boy is leaving. And tonight I'm heading south on that old train. I can hear the whistle blowing and I know just where I'm going. I can hear the voices calling through the rain. Too much taking and no getting, this old life ain't worth living. And tonight I'm heading south on that old train. me.